We talked about the cycle of expats, mostly thinking of corporate expats. Many of the things we talked about also apply to different types of expats, all sorts of, such as self-initiated expatriates or some other types. Some of it we will cover today. One is female expats. As you saw also before, they're still in the minority. We talked about this also last week. 10 to 20% of expats are nowadays female, more than in the past, but they're still underrepresented. Here now let's talk about challenges for female expats. It can be difficult, and some people even call it double jeopardy, because you're a foreigner and a woman. This can be challenging. There might be some negative stereotypes. At the same time, there can be also some opportunities because you stand out. In quite a few countries, if you're in more traditional, gender traditional countries, such as in Asia, Middle East, and so forth. So there's some kind of double-edged sword, but it could be also some kind of disadvantage, and it needs also some courage to overcome maybe sometimes these stereotypes. Interesting is also often now, in the future it may be different, but currently many of these female expatriates who are on assignment, there's a relatively high percentage of not married female expats. Among the male expats, most of them are married or in a relationship. Among the female expats, there's an astonishing high percentage of non-married female expats. But I think that's also some kind of a legacy of the past. Because in the past it was difficult to combine both careers and families for women. It's changing, but the current expat population still is a little bit from the past. But the thing is, if you don't have a partner, you may not have the problems of a partner, which we discussed before. It can be problematic, but you also don't receive any support from your partner, because I know also quite a few expats, and they say, oh yeah, it's so nice to go with your partner because any trouble I can discuss with my partner. And whenever I'm hungry, I can eat together with my partner, and the stress or is somewhat alleviated. But as a single, you don't. You always have to find someone who you can confide in. One challenge could also be some kind of isolation. Because if you're a token, you're the only female, the only foreigner, it's more difficult to establish connections. And that can be a problem. And in some countries, it could also be difficult to find local mentors. So then, what can companies do? Again, there's different aspects. Again, we can think of different stages, maybe before. There can be some training offered. So how to deal with these prejudices and stereotypes. Some mechanisms how to manage. That would be helpful. Training would be helpful for all expats, but particularly for also female expats, because they may face sometimes more challenges. And what would always help, to have a strong spokesperson, influential mentor or manager, who would support then the expat, in particular also for the female manager. If you have another senior female manager, would be ideal. Not always available, but that of course would be would be a very good option. In the host country, I don't think that would be necessary. Also, male would be good. Sometimes even they say cross-gender could be also helpful, even more so. But back in the headquarters, probably a senior female manager would be very helpful as a role model. Also, could show the ways how also the other female could succeed. In the host country, maybe I wouldn't say that would be gender-based. Training would be important, like as for expats. Again, mentoring would help. Online networks and so forth, like any kind of source where they can get information and support. And then again, also repatriation is key. Here again, I would say similar aspects as for all expats would help. Particularly, I would say here in the preparation and ongoing support, there could be some really gender-tailored support mechanisms in place to help women succeed. And the very first one is very simple, to offer women the opportunity and then learn also by experience. Another aspect here of different types of expats would be inpats. So these inpats are the expats from foreign countries who are being dispatched to the headquarters of a company. There's one major difference between inpats and expats. Expats are typically from the headquarters. They enjoy high status because they're from the headquarters. Yeah, they must be some special, particularly if companies pursue global strategy, then they're the core management talent of a company, and then they transfer knowledge here and there, and they're being welcomed by the foreign subsidiary who are hierarchically inferior to the headquarters. So there's a different hierarchy. If an inpatriate from a lower level subsidiary goes to the higher level in the hierarchy headquarters, it's different. Very often there's not the support system in place, and very often also they don't enjoy the status advantages that expats from headquarters enjoy when they go abroad. And very often also in lower level positions. Expats are in all levels when they go abroad, but very often in senior level management position or lower level ones. Inpats are typically in the middle level and lower level, but not in the top levels. That can also sometimes lead to wrong expectations. So the case of myself in Korea, I lived in this really gorgeous apartment. I had birthday and I invited all my colleagues. And my Korean colleagues saw my huge apartment, and my boss, 2 levels higher in Korea, he lived in a very small place, half the size of mine, and he was 20 years older than me and had a family. And he thought, oh yeah, now I will go to Munich as an expat. Yeah, now the life will be fun, I have a big apartment, all this and that. No, of course not. No, he was living in a, I think, 35 square meter apartment in Munich, downtown Munich, which is okay for 3 months, but it did not really meet his expectations. So it will be very important to create some realistic expectations of what to expect as an inpat in the foreign headquarter country and location. It needs to also be very carefully assessed. Why do we send this inpat abroad? And accordingly, everything should be ready for him or her. Training could be also offered, could be somewhat different, also considering the different hierarchy, status, and so forth. And also all kinds of social support. Because again, same situation, different foreign country, no connections. For Germany, it's also a special case. When you come from a country where family, group orientation, the lines between family and private and work life are very blurred, everything is one. And in Germany, it's separated. And then finding some ways also to integrate then inpatriates in such kind of situation. And again, very careful planning on how it should continue would be then important. We can also have another kind of detour thinking of self-initiated expatriates. So the majority of expats are actually self-initiated. They're not corporate expats, but they do not have this corporation, multinational corporation headquarter mandate. They're simply foreigners who find a job in a different country. As such, also, they do not receive expat benefits. There's no free housing, no free trips home, no extra salary, no this and that. We'll talk about that next week. They're just employed as regular locals. They're not locals, they're foreigners. Many of them are highly motivated, and they might also have much more host country knowledge than the expat. An expat is someone, a corporate expat sent someone from the headquarters to a foreign country, may not speak the language, may have not been living in that country, but the self-initiated expats, very often, they have some kind of connection. Maybe they've studied in the country, they spoke the language, they like the food, maybe even they have friends and networks. So they have some kind of host country knowledge, more than the expat, but less than the local. But very often they still have also the cultural knowledge of the home country of the multinational corporation. So overall, self-initiated expatriates can be also a very good option, staffing option for multinational corporations. In particular, also if they cannot find sufficient number of host country talent. But they should be also very careful in terms of selection, because for self-initiated expats, it's very often any job would do. I just want to work in that country. So they may make some compromise, but that's not a good compromise from the company. They want people who fit and who really want to work for your company. Yeah, and then there's always some kind of balance that should be somehow considered. Attractive compensation I just put in, because they don't receive the benefits from as corporate expatriates do, but maybe there's also some kind of concessions companies can do to make this attractive and to reduce the imbalance between organizational and self-managed expats. And what is very important is then to also develop long-term career planning, because many of these self-managed expatriates are very globally minded, globally oriented people, and they could also be considered then for these global careers. And maybe also many of them would like to return to the headquarter country, let's say 10 years later or so, and that could be also considered when developing career plans for them. Now I'm a little behind time. Very quickly here, global virtual mobility. I think that has been a trend accelerated during the last 2 years because of Corona. So many expatriate assignments, particularly these short-term expatriate assignments, are being replaced by global virtual mobility. Means we don't need to go abroad. We simply do a video conference. Yeah, we do MS Teams and whatever. We talk to people and that will do. Yeah, some of it can be replaced. Expats don't need to travel every week to another country and again and again. Some of it can be replaced by virtual forms of work. But at the same time, I think what here is important to consider, also still include personal meetings from time to time, typically at the beginning of kind of job roles, tasks and so forth. That would be ideal. And maybe also when it's critical, again, repeatedly to have some meetings. That's just important for personal interactions. And then also in these virtual assignments, training would be important. Not only physical, but also in these types of virtual work experiences that people are prepared. And because many people think, oh, there are no cultural differences. Screen, yeah, let's do it. Maybe a little bit language difference, maybe a little bit time difference, but there's also quite some cultural differences. And they become often apparent only later on or when conflict arises. Yeah, that can be also anticipated and prepared, so meaning also offering some training to avoid that.